Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry it's a little late in the day that I'm posting this, but I got sidetracked preparing for our Ash Wednesday service tonight at church. But I didn't want a Wednesday to pass without talking about this woman from the Bible. In fact, today we're going to look at the final text of the Apocrypha before we get to the New Testament. It's found in 2nd Maccabees, and it tells a story of a mom, a widow, unnamed, and her 7 sons, and a faith that wouldn't waver. Actually, in all honesty, this really is a horrendous story. See, after the death of Alexander the Great, his generals divided his empire into regional sections. Soon the Holy Land of Judea was controlled by a dynasty of kings known as the Seleucids. Now, some were good, some were bad. Antiochus Epiphanes, he was one of the bad ones, a really bad one. He is trying to break the Jewish people of their will and spirit by a reign of terror. And in this story, a mother and her 7 sons are brought before this king who threatened to torture and kill them if they didn't abandon their faith and prove their respect for him by eating pig meat, something Jews are forbidden to do. The young men, starting with the oldest and working down, told the king defiantly that they would rather die than do that or recant their faith. One of the brothers, on behalf of the others, said that even if they were all to die, they wouldn't break the law. Enraged, the angry king ordered pans and cauldrons to be heated up, and the first brother to have his tongue and end of his limbs cut off, and the skin to be removed from his head and thrown into the fiery pots. All this happening in front of the rest of the brothers and their mother. Can you imagine the terror? One by one, each brother endured the same torture and suffering before being martyred, each refusing to recant their faith. And their mom, who stood by stoically watching all of this unfold, encouraged them to fight zealously for their faith and their ancestral laws. The king, seeing what's happening, tells the mother that he'll spare and even reward the youngest son with a high position in his court if she will only convince him to give in. Thinking that she agrees, Antiochus allows her to approach and speak to her son. Leaning in closely, she doesn't persuade him to recant, but speaking gently in Hebrew, the language of their ancestors, she encourages him to stand firm against this butcher, and with an eloquent exposition of faith in God and trust that they will be reunited and see each other again beyond this life because of God's great mercy, she tells him, stand firm, be brave, you can do it. And this young boy is martyred too. And with that, this mom then throws herself into the flames and dies too. It's an awful story, right? Well, the narrator of 2nd Maccabees mentions that the mother was the most, and I quote, remarkable of all, and deserves to be remembered with special honor. She watched her 7 sons die in the space of a single day, yet she bore it bravely because she put her trust in the Lord. You know, when I read this story, I had to be honest with you, I don't know how she did that because I honestly don't think that I would have that kind of faith. I'm ashamed to say that I don't think I could stand by and watch my kids be tortured and murdered if I could stop it. But what is so amazing to me is that in comforting her sons, she focused not on immediate pains, like most of us would, but rather she said to keep their eyes focused on ultimate things, on God. And here we see this mother's strength and faith unite the family and give her sons courage. And we're led to believe that her bravery and ability to do this comes from her belief that God will reunite them again. And with that expression of faith, she presents a new hope, the hope of resurrection. Actually, she is the first person in the Bible to articulate the hope of resurrection, of new, fuller life beyond the grave, of victory over even the worst that life can dish out. A victory we will see later in the death and resurrection of Jesus. You know, the Bible doesn't hide from showing us the worst of human behavior. It's definitely not a book about the goodness of human nature, but it is a book of hope and the possibilities of God's intentions for us, all of us, beyond this life. And that is displayed so perfectly by this mom to her sons. Bravo for her and her 7 sons. What a great way to end the Old Testament, filling us with hope and moving us on to the new, don't you think? Now, my friends, stay safe. Continue to find the blessings. Please pray for Ukraine and all who are working to preserve democracy and peace. And pray for those around the world who are trying to do all they can to help make that happen. Know that I love you and I pray for you. Keep the faith and never lose hope. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.